Y'all, I'm just riding the track bike today and starting out in a residential area, and I'll be moving into some of the country kind of Meadowlands. So this is the northwest part of Fayetteville, and I'm obviously in like a pretty residential, suburby type area, which I will be for this whole route anyway, but as we get farther out, it gets a little more countryside, which you'll see. I will say, guys, I usually won't ride on this bike path. I'll ride out in the road, because when there's a lot of traffic, it can be really dangerous. Like, people will just drive into this in the driveway areas that cross through it, and I've almost been hit several times on this bike path, and I've never almost been hit on the road. So the only reason I'm doing it right now is because it's very low traffic, and I'm just kind of taking it easy. When I get to an intersection especially, I do not want to be on the bike path. I just want to use the traffic signals like a car. It's way more safe and easy than trying to get like a walk signal and people turning into you and just all that bullshit. So that's my advice, is take intersections like a car. not to overly harp on the subject, but again, it's really tempting to see those bike lanes and ride in them, but in my experience, that's the easiest way to get hit by a car, is by riding into that. And a big part of that's that cars don't think of that as a road. They don't take it seriously. They'll open their doors into that, and they won't think that it's their fault if they hit you. It's just, if you take yourself seriously on the road, people will take you seriously, and it's much better to do that. All right, Persimmon Street, we're going right, just west. Obviously still very residential, and it will be residential the whole time, but as we start to get out further and further west out of Fayetteville, it gets more mountainous and more countryside looking as you go towards Farmington. Low-key, I'm kind of missing the wide risers. Maybe just not as wide as I had them. But I'm pretty heavily considering going back to wide risers, because sometimes I just find like there's not like a hand position that I really love with drops that don't have hoods. I've also thought about going for bullhorns, because I feel like that could be nice too, you know. But I like the way the drops look. I just, without hoods, I'm not sure how much I love drops on the track bike. This is starting to get to that more kind of countryside looking area that I was talking about. And, you know, long term, I actually would kind of like to live out this area. I live in a much more residential, kind of like, you know, row housing looking neighborhood, which is fine. I'm young and my family's young, but I would love to like find a little plot of land out here, kind of like that, you know? Just a nice little modest house, but with some space. I love that. I'm gonna go south towards the mountains. You probably can't really see it because of how this is Action 4, DJI Action 4, and the lens is super wide, which I love, but it doesn't do the best, you know, focal length compression for making mountains look nice, but the views out here are really beautiful. The Boston Mountains are to the south of Fayetteville, so as you go into Farmington, it just gets closer into that ridge, more backed up into it, and it's just really pretty out here. Sneak over to the right, go a little bit more west. I love exploring out here on bikes because it's really beautiful, and like I said, I kind of want to find a house out here at some point, so I'm always low-key looking around like for spots that maybe I'll move into one day. It's very close to where I already live, but just a little bit more countryside out here. I like this house a lot. Like I said, it's not like a crazy house, it just has space. It's out like in these meadowlands that just feel, you know, very American, very heartland looking countryside out here. The simplicity of like riding out on a track bike, like no brakes, no gears, nothing, just the simplest possible bike out in this very simple area. It's very therapeutic. I'll go back up north. I might do a couple laps of that little loop. I actually don't live out here. I'll show you though. This is kind of more like the type of houses I live in. There's a lot of houses like this, obviously all over America, but particularly in Northwest Arkansas, there's a lot of this up. And don't get me wrong, like I'm super blessed. I have a lot of privilege to even be able to live in houses like this, but it does leave you longing for a little bit more of the countryside. There's a movie called like Vivarium, like Vivarium, something like that. I can't remember if that's what it's actually called. But this type of housing a lot of times makes me like think of that movie where it's like the same house over and over and over again. And in a way it's kind of cozy, like apartments, but like there's a vibe of like being in apartments. I lived in apartments, you know, all my life up until recently, and I still have nostalgia for that. And having that like very stacked up living style, there's something about that I still appreciate. But if you think about this versus that in front of us, very different vibes. I'll just cut back this way again. Got some cows. Got some space. Got like a feed. I don't even know what you call that. I'll go ahead and flip this thing around. Sheesh. Yeah, so I'm 7.7 miles in. I'm just heading back north. So it'll probably be like a 12-mile ride, something like that. One thing that's really cool about Northwest Arkansas is I would say the people are really friendly towards cyclists. Like, some of those guys might be a little frustrated right now that they're having to pass me, but typically people will give you a lot of space. They're very kind. They don't honk at you or like flip you off for the most part, so it's pretty cool up here. Cows again. What's up, Moose? That's where we came in on. I'll go up a road before I cut back east, so I don't do the exact same road again. right, let's cut east right here. Dot Tipton. There's like an not abandoned, it's a chicken house that's obviously not in use anymore over here. But you get interesting little stuff like that around here where it's like, 20, 30 years ago, this whole area was like legit farms. Then, because of the way things changed in this area, it's become a lot more of a hot spot to want to live here. And so a lot of the farmland it's too valuable per square foot, or per acre rather, to be used as farmland anymore. So they end up turning it all slowly into like residential areas. And this is kind of transitional, You can see the artifacts of the farms that used to be here. Deer just crossed in front of me. But this is definitely not a farm area anymore. It's much like this is definitely a residential area at this point. That said, there's like a farm right there, like someone has like row cropping set up. There was cattle out in that pasture back there. So some people still have as artifacts of it, but it's not like anyone's coming out here buying land and setting up new big commercial farms for like cattle or row cropping or anything like that. Especially not row cropping in this area. It's very hilly, so if you wanted to use this land for farms anyway, it would be more probably cattle, livestock, maybe hay, that kind of stuff. So if I take a left out that way, that'll go up and just hit Weddington. I don't like going that way at all. I'll go back this way and hit Ruppel or Rupel, whatever you want to call it. I always say Ruppel because I feel like that sounds, first of all, if you took phonics and you read that, that's how you pronounce that, but whatever. But most people call it Rupel, which I feel dumb when I say, so I don't usually like to say that, but we'll go up here and hit Rupel Road, go north back on that, and that's how I'll end my route. That's where I started the video on, is out on that road. North of Mount Comfort, left of Ruppel. Or west of Ruppel, rather. Like that house right there, I love. It's, It's not this crazy modern house. It's very kind of, you know, I wouldn't say modest. I think it's a really nice house, but it's not going for that huge, like everything made out of glass and steel and like big windows, whatever. It's just kind of a traditional looking house that looks really nice with a lot of space, well maintained. Like that's kind of like my dream, is to have something like that for my family. Okay, so this is Broyles. Go this way. Broyles is like a kind of, it's a big, you know, I guess like a main kind of vein through Farmington. I don't live or do really much in Farmington, so I don't interact with it very much, but for some people that road is like their main kind of vein in and out of Farmington. This area, a lot of people would upgrade from like a house that I live in that's like kind of a starter home into a house like this. I wouldn't. I don't like these houses. They remind me of like the houses that they put up in Texas, like outside of like Dallas and like Houston, where it's like they pack in these giant, seemingly nice houses that are made really cheaply. And I just don't know. For me, it's not it. I know I'm like talking about houses a lot right now, but it's just because I'm actively thinking about, I almost was thinking about moving right now. I decided not to, but, well, I think I've decided not to, but I'm on the fence about trying to like move into something a little bit more suited for, you know, I have 3 kids, so it'd be nice to have more of a forever home for them to grow up in. But shit's expensive. It's probably gonna be a little ways before I can do that. That guy just called me an asshole, so I give him a thumbs up. I totally get how if you're not a cyclist, cyclists are annoying to you. But I also think if you're so narrow-minded that you can't like get outside of your own little bubble to think about other people's positions and have some empathy and not resort to just getting pissed off at people, then like, I don't give a shit. Like that's on you. You're the one with the problem. You're the one going around being pissed off all the time. So figure out your shit first before you start projecting it on me. That's my whole position. Like, if you think about what people are getting mad about, they're getting mad that they have to wait maybe 15 seconds longer to get somewhere. Bruh, how long did you spend on Instagram today? You need that 15 seconds that bad? Like, come on. It's like you need God, like you need to pray or some shit because you got some problems if you're getting pissed about losing 5 seconds out of your day. And I would just also point out, like, I don't think I am an asshole. I think I am really courteous and try to like I'm not gonna ride on that sidewalk, that's stupid, but I'm over here, you know, I'm giving people space. I'm trying to be cooperative and empathetic of their position as drivers. So it's like, hey man, just meet me in the middle. I'm not an asshole. Like I'm out here just enjoying my day. That was not a skid. That was something dumb. I will say, like, on an intersection like this, I'm very tempted just to skip. And a lot of times I will. Fuck it. Actually, I'll give him a minute. That way these guys can go. Fuck it. Can't get my strap. God damn. I need to get new spikes on my pedals. I've like grinded them off on curbs and stuff on accident. And it's really hard to get my strap back now. Got it. It's like my pedal will get, you know, the pegs are on the bottom and I can't flip the pedal up. So I end up having to do like weird maneuvers to get my strap back. New pegs or spikes or whatever you call them cost like $1, so I should just go buy those. All right, guys, this is kind of where I started my video, so I'll go ahead and close it out. I know I talked about a lot of like house bullshit and other shit, but I just wanted to kind of put something out. It's been a minute since I did a point of view, so here you go. I doubt anyone will watch this, but if you do, thank you very much, and have a nice day.